It is 6 p.m. I will call this meeting to order. Mr. Hannah, can you confirm we have a quorum, sir?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, we do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. For our invocation this evening, Mr. Brian Shaull, you're with us, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
Let's pray. Father, I thank you and I come to you this evening lifting up our city of Jasper, Georgia, with hope in our heart that you're going to do great things using us to make a difference. Father, I pray over our mayor, our council, and everybody that's in here tonight, that they would be on the same agenda and page to help others and to serve them. I see you give wisdom and understanding in the decisions that are being made. Would you help us lead with integrity and vision? Thank you for what you've done and what you have to come. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Dr. Watts, would you lead us in the pledge, please, sir?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council, you have an agenda before you previously distributed. I need to make an amendment to the agenda. The amendment to the agenda will be to add a public hearing after your consent agenda. I need a public hearing for consideration of alcohol license beer and wine package at 276 H. Mullins Drive. That public hearing will be before new business and after your consent. With that amendment, I yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion, council? All in favor? Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a wonderful evening to be here and conduct business on behalf of our community. This evening I have a couple of proclamations that you've seen on our agenda. And Ms. Baird, I saw you walk in, and so I'm going to start with the Greatest American Cleanup 2026 proclamation. To designate March and April 2026 as the Greatest American Cleanup Months, a cooperative effort of Keep America Beautiful, the Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation, and Keep Pickens Beautiful, in partnership with Pickens County and the City of Jasper, effective the 31st day of March 2026. Whereas Jasper and Pickens County are rich in beauty and natural resources, and whereas every citizen can contribute to the protection and preservation of the beauty of Jasper and Pickens County by participating in a litter cleanup campaign or a beautification campaign, and whereas Keep Pickens Beautiful will assist in organizing citizens, civic clubs, churches, and schools in a countywide effort to improve our community. And whereas Jasper and Pickens County citizens realize an effort to maintain a clean and beautiful environment is needed to display pride in our community for ourselves, our visitors, and for commercial and industrial prospects. Whereas March and April are Keep Pickens Beautiful, the Greatest American Cleanup Months, in cooperations with Keep America Beautiful and the Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation. March and April are designated as Waste Reduction, Community Education, and Beautification Months. Now, therefore, we do hereby proclaim March and April as the official cleanup and beautification months in Jasper, Nelson, Marble Hill, Talking Rock, and Pickens County. Our projects will be identified as Keep Pickens Beautiful, the Greatest American Cleanup. We invite all citizens to join in actions which will further enhance the beauty of Jasper, Nelson, Marble Hill, Talking Rock, Tate, Hinton, and Pickens County, and encourage all citizens to work together to sustain these efforts throughout the year. Ms. Baird, we signed this the other evening. Is there anything you'd like to say about our proclamation before we take a picture after we're done?
Nope, I just want to say thank you very much for being a part of keeping Pickens beautiful. And
Awesome.
so it is the greatest American cleanup because it's been a 2-year extra effort on the part of Keep America Beautiful and Keep Georgia Beautiful Foundation and all of the other affiliates for the America 250. So that's why it's the greatest, is in preparation for that. So help us clean up the county.
Thank you. The next proclamation is for child abuse awareness month. Do I have anyone here for that proclamation? Thank you, ma'am. Sorry, I was overlooking you. I apologize. Whereas child abuse is a community problem and finding solutions depends on involvement among people throughout the community, whereas thousands of Georgia's children are reported abused and neglected each year. Whereas the effects of child abuse are felt by whole communities and need to be addressed by the entire community. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs, like Parents as Teachers, succeed because of partnerships created among social service agencies, schools, religious and civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Whereas all citizens should become more aware of the negative effects of child abuse and its prevention within the community and become involved in supporting parents to raise their children in a safe, nurturing environment. Therefore, we do hereby proclaim April as Child Abuse Awareness Month in 2026 and call upon all citizens, community agencies, religious organizations, medical facilities, and businesses to increase their participation in our effort to prevent child abuse, thereby strengthening the communities in which we live. This again was previously signed by Pickens County Commission Chair Chris Stansel and myself for the mayor for City of Jasper. Would you like to speak a little bit about our proclamation and what we do this month?
Well, if I had been prepared, that would have been awesome. But my name is Kelly Jordan, and I work with North Georgia Family Partners. We serve families in Pickens with children 5 and under, and our aim is to prevent child abuse and to be supportive of families and be a resource to help them with things that they need, and we appreciate the support.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us. Our third proclamation this evening is for the National 811 Notification System Safe Digging Month, April 2026. Whereas thousands of times each year, the underground infrastructure in Georgia is damaged by those who do not have underground lines located prior to digging, resulting in service interruption, environmental damage, and a threat to the public welfare. Whereas in 2005, the Federal Communications Commission designated 811 to provide contractors and homeowners a simple number to contact utility operators to request the location of underground lines at the intended dig site. Whereas the Pickens County Utility Coordinating Committee, a stakeholder-driven organization dedicated to the prevention of damage to underground utilities in Georgia, promotes the National 811 Notification System in Georgia 811 in an effort to reduce these damages. And whereas damage prevention is a shared responsibility by using safe digging practices, the contractors and homeowners of Jasper can save time, money, and help our infrastructure stay safe and connected. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Mayor Kirk Raffield, do hereby proclaim the month of April to be National 811 Notification System Safe Digging Month and encourage contractors and homeowners throughout our community to always contact 811 before digging. Safe digging is no accident. And this was signed today. And we have a representative here with that. So let's talk about UCC in a moment and how important it is to use 811.
Well, it looks like you covered it pretty well. But yes, it's very important that no matter what you're digging, you don't know what's in the ground, so always call 811 and get them to come out and put some paint on the ground, some flags, so you don't get hurt, so you don't damage somebody's utilities, or somebody could get killed. So it's very important.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us. And once I get through the proclamations, I'd love to get a picture of each of you with a proclamation. So give me just a moment. The last proclamation that I have this evening is National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week proclamation. Mr. Dillon, I see you and some folks in the back from our E911 Center. Before I read this, I want to say thank you. As all of you are aware, our community has experienced some incidents recently that required all of our public safety partners to come together in order to serve our community. And what I like to remind people is that there's oftentimes an unsung hero, and that is our 911 Center. Those are the individuals who we do not see. Those are the individuals that we always call. And it's really important. You guys are heroes. We appreciate what you do for our folks and our community and for each entire community throughout our nation. You are the reason we are as safe as we are. With that being said, whereas emergencies that require police, fire, or emergency medical services can occur at any time, whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics are critical to the protection of life and preservation of property, whereas the safety of our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who contact the Pickens County Emergency Communications Center. Whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. Whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and paramedics by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them with information, and ensuring their safety. Whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Pickens County 911 Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. Whereas each dispatcher has exhibited compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job. Therefore, be it resolved that I, Kirk Raffield, Mayor for the City of Jasper, proclaim the week of April 12th through 18th to be National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in honor of the men and women whose diligence and professionalism keep our communities and citizens safe. Thank you for what you do. All right, good, Mr. Dillon. I'm gonna have you guys come forward and take a picture with me. Glad y'all were able to sorry.
You want it this way? It doesn't matter. Oh, now where is the? Think about it.
Always said they wanted these over. Gotcha. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Yes. Of course I do. Yes. Safety, come on up, sir. UCC.
Yes.
And anyone that follows our social media pages know contractors can hit utilities. So it's important. Call before you dig. We've experienced this recently.
Okay, hang on, I gotta get one with mine. Because. Perfect.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
What you call it, abuse prevention? Come on, forward. Thank you, ma'am. Miss Mary, come on down. That's okay.
Every time you come here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Council, next item on your agenda is the public comment section. I do have individuals signed up for public comment this evening. Before we open the floor, I will call on those that are listed to speak. The guidelines for the public comment period are: Mayor will announce the public comment section of the agenda. This is not an unlimited public forum. The individual making the comment must state their name and address, be physically present. Comments are limited to city matters. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. The mayor does have the right to extend time. No personal attacks or unwarranted accusations. The mayor or presiding officer has the right to end the comment or comments due to violations of rules or length of the agenda. Individual commenting can only exercise their public comment section once a meeting. No individual can allocate or transfer their time for comment to another person. No inappropriate language, signs, or images. The public comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes. This evening for the public comment period, I have Arden Chastain. Good evening, come on forward.
Hello. All right, hi, my name is Arden Chastain, and I'm here with my husband and my 3-year-old daughter and my 3-week-old daughter. Our family's been residents of Pickens County for generations. In June of 2025, we purchased family land to continue building our lives here and growing our roots deeper here. At the time of purchase, we were informed that the property that had already had a city water meter, which included both an appraisal and the price that we bought it for. However, when we bought it, we were never told that any action was required on our part to activate or maintain access to that meter. Now that we have bought a home to be placed on this property, we have been denied access to it. We cannot afford this mortgage that we have now closed our loan, cannot access more money for our loan to dig a well. So we cannot afford this mortgage and a place to rent for our family to live here. I asked why I have heard and have seen constructions being built with city water and no resident living in it, or it not even being done yet, and they have access to city water, as we do not. And I also ask that you take into consideration families of people that's been here for generations that would like to continue to grow here, continue to support the community and raise our children here. So that is it. Thank y'all so much for listening.
Thank you, ma'am.
There. You did that, yes.
Ms. Chastain, is the address 1124 Pleasant Hill Road?
Oh, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, you're good. I was reading it, and I didn't catch it. Thank you, Ms. Kim. Next on the list, I have Ms. Julie Affairs. Come on up, ma'am. Welcome.
Thank you. I have this on paper because I talk fast and
That's okay.
I got my over 45 glasses, so here we go. So I'm Julia, and today I'm representing both Jasper, Georgia News and the Pickens County SBDC, and we've got Dave Terry here, who also is representing SBDC. Over the past several years, John and I have had the privilege of building one of the largest and most engaged community platforms in Pickens County and possibly in North Georgia. With that comes a responsibility we take very seriously to not just share news and information, but to listen and pay attention. And one highly valuable tool we've developed for that purpose is our community polling. These polls are not casual or arbitrary, but consistently reflect real sentiment from local residents and visitors. In fact, when it comes to local elections, our polls have matched final outcomes for both the city and county with 100% accuracy over the years. Kind of why we're petitioning you to pay attention. This is our hook. That tells us that our audience is engaged, informed, and representative of the collective community. The value of these polls goes beyond elections, and they give insight into what people are actually experiencing, what's working, what's not, and what might be preventing them from participating more fully in our local economy and community events. For example, in a recent poll we conducted in partnership with Dave Terry, here with us, the SBDC, asking what would increase support for downtown Jasper business. In that poll, with 822 votes, convenient parking near shopping and stores ranked as the #1 concern at 37%, significantly higher than walkability, safety, or even addition of new attractions. What this tells us is that while parking may not currently be viewed as the pressing issue at the city level, from the perspective of the residents and visitors, it is the primary factor limiting their participation in downtown events and their willingness to shop locally. This is important when considering a positive return on where city funds might be invested. Because if we want real positive growth, not just in conversation, but real participation, we'll need to align our priorities with lived experience. Almost done, guys. Jasper, Georgia News works closely with organizations like SBDC, KPB, Sir Pickens, and other local partners to support businesses, improve visibility, and strengthen community connection. Our goal isn't to inspire criticism, but to contribute lasting, tangible solutions. Together, we hope to provide you with real, usable insight, not just for electable talking points, but for decisions that lead to measurable progress and community support. So tonight, we're asking for your attention and partnership to take the information we can provide from sources like our polls through the SBDC Entrepreneur and Small Business Forum, where we invited the mayor to speak, and our roundtable discussions that heard vital concerns and solutions about some of the most pressing issues facing Jasper. We invite the city of Jasper to not only pay attention to our polls, but to work with us in using the data, along with community forums and collaborative meetings to realistically develop some of these actionable solutions. Ones that reflect what the people are asking for, that increase participation, and that help Jasper to not just grow, but to thrive. That's it, thank you.
And that was right on time. So before you leave the 442.
Our home address is 442 Ward Ridge.
Okay, got it. Got it, thank you. And do me a favor, hang around for the committee reports this evening on actual items.
Okay, great.
Mr. Dave Terry, sir. There's your name if you'll state your address.
Right on cue. Thank you, council, for the opportunity. I am at 1282 Parker Road in Jasper. So what I wanted to discuss tonight in the public comments is local government and small businesses are being asked to do more with less. They're tough times right now for local government and small business. So in January, the beginning of this year, we thought about what can like-minded nonprofits and volunteers do to support small businesses and the city of Jasper. So the catalyst to start a community service day was around the time we had inclement weather. There were 2 Saturdays that small businesses were essentially shut down. And again, it just reinforced the tough economic times that local government and small business are in right now. So with the help of other like-minded nonprofits, including Verid from KPB, Terry Franzen with Serve Pickens, we started to think about some ideas for things that we could do to support and serve the community. So around in January, we thought about doing something around helping clean up small business storefronts in downtown. Could be pressure washing, window washing. We met with the DDA in January. We decided to table that idea. We then explored, can we do something with the Native American mural that was at Jasper Junction? We looked at that possibility, we tabled it, and Verid then had the idea that Peace Park was started last year. Peace Park was a Keep Pickens Beautiful initiative. I think Verid will tell you it was well-intentioned. It was a learning opportunity for them. They're all volunteers who went out to try to help reinvigorate Peace Park with wildflower seeds and planting, and it did not go as intended. So when we were thinking about what can we do to serve the community, we now have netted out on wanting to do something for Peace Park. And the goals, the mission of this community service project is twofold. One, how can we unite? If there's one key word that you take away is we want to unite the community. We want to unite 100 volunteers. We want to unite different nonprofits and get them together. When that happens, more community pride is created. Secondly, we want to help local government. We want to help our community by potentially scaling this event to do other initiatives. So May 9th, Community Service Day, Peace Park. The scope of work would essentially be twofold. And I want to thank Councilman Hanna and Davis for being involved with this initiative. We looked at kind of phase 1 being setting a foundation for better soil, looking at the grading. We have a local resident who's willing to consult with us on drainage and grading. And we're looking for help to purchase materials, and we supply all of the labor and the installation for this May 9th event. So we're trying to draw awareness now to this event. We'd like it to be a collaborative effort with the city, with the DDA, and with different nonprofits and volunteers to again serve the community.
Thank you, sir. And I'll remind you the same, if you'll hang around for committee reports, I think there's some actionable items that the committee members here are gonna be speaking about. Ms. Baird.
All right.
What is your address there on Main Street?
Keep Pickens Beautiful is 56 South Main Street.
Okay, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
So to follow up what Dave had started on, yes, it was a learning experience last year for everybody involved. So basically what happened, we have edible pickens, which as you guys hopefully are aware, we've installed over a dozen foodscaped gardens, usually in kind of underutilized spaces, using plants that don't really need a whole lot of care to take care of them. They just take care of themselves, herbs and other things that need very little water and very little maintenance. So the city approached us, said, hey, we're ripping out all the plants out of Peace Park, will KPB help us replant? And so we came up with a plan. Jen, one of our office staffers, she came up with an idea of what plants to put where. We worked with the city to get materials brought in, from soil to mulch, and you guys bought pavers and all the plants and all the seeds. And the original plan for the grassy area, so the planters are looking good. Some plants didn't do so well because, again, it was first season, and so we put lavender in places that were shaded. All of that has now been removed. New plants have been put in. New plants will continue to be put in the planters during the springtime. But the grassy area, the original plan for that was to turn that into a big wildflower field. So the first thing that people see as they're driving into Main Street, heading south down North Main, is a beautiful wildflower field with paths that are engaging, bringing people in to enjoy the flowers. So the challenge was, topsoil was brought in by the city that apparently came from somewhere that was not great, and so it didn't have very many nutrients. If you look at even the areas that we didn't touch, we only touched the middle parts. Nothing is really growing anywhere. Clover, a couple other weeds, some dandelions, that's pretty much all that's growing. So the soil from the beginning was horrible. Then there's drainage issues, and we also got wildflower seed mix, which is mostly filler. We came to learn, I've never used that stuff before. A little bit of seed, a lot of filler. We have since gotten all of the unsold seeds from Home Depot. They have donated them to KPD, so we have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of seed packets in our office. Come get seeds from KPD. We have a seed library. We keep stock. Come get seeds from us. So we have zinnias and cosmos and wildflower seed packets. And so our hope is that what they had explained, bringing in some better topsoil, bringing in some material that can work as paths and help with managing the water, that Keep Pickens Beautiful will bring actual seeds. And the city can make recommendations or suggestions, because if you want it, we probably have it. But we're thinking zinnias and cosmos to begin, wildflowers to fill in later. Then you guys would have no maintenance. It'd be beautiful. You come down once a year and cut down the flowers at the end of the year. They reseed themselves, and then next spring you have a new garden. So something beautiful and pretty to invite people into the city. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
any questions? This is a question.
Second plug, at the end, if you'll hang around for committee reports, there's some extra items.
Great, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, Madam Clerk, that is all I have signed up for public comment. If you will pass it to the clerk for the record, please. Council, next on your agenda, I have a consent agenda with 2 items. I yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion the consent agenda be accepted.
Have a motion, right? Second.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same? Thank you, council. At this time, we're going to have a public hearing. I will open the public hearing. It is on 276 H. Mullins Drive for consideration of alcohol licensed beer and wine. Is the applicant present with us this evening? Going once, going twice. All right. And I will move on to staff. Good evening.
I thought you were gonna move on to the next item. I'm like, oh, I'll move on too. I'll move on.
Not that easy.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, Mayor Elizabeth Burgess. This, before you tonight is we're having a public hearing for beer and wine by the package at the new convenience store / gas station at the corner of H. Mullins and Philadelphia. They have completed the background check for the owner, Kashif Rama, and for his agent as well, and that is Barak Patel. They also were advertised for 30 days in the Pickens Progress, as well as on site for 30 days with that enormous sign. At this time, they do meet the requirements. Their surveyor, Joel Hart, has approved that the distances have been met from all applicable churches and educational buildings. They do not have a certificate of occupancy at this time, as they were finishing up the building, so I would request that we hold off until or add the condition that it is approved once the CO is issued.
Thank you, ma'am. Nothing further from staff. I will open this up to the public. Anyone here in the public like to comment on this item? Going once, going twice. No one willing to speak, I will close the public hearing. Moving on to new business, item number 1. Consideration of alcohol license beer and wine package at 276 H. Mullins Drive. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Again, this is just for beer and wine by the package at the new convenience store / gas station at 276 H. Mullins Drive. And again, the condition would be to issuance upon certificate of occupancy.
Thank you. Council, any questions? Staff has asked that we move on this with a condition that until a CO is issued, we would hold that license. I'm going to yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to be approved
Is there a condition
with the condition.
of the CO being issued?
Yes, sir. I thought that was already.
Have a motion, council, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, council? All in favor? Opposed? Same.
You want to recognize there wasn't somebody here that asked.
Thank you, council.
Famous question.
That is right. Item number 2, consideration of proposed parade route. Chief Sherrer?
Yes, Chief Sherrer is going to present. Let me bring the parade route up though, and while he's coming up, I would like to provide some kind of background data on why it is that we are doing this.
Yes, ma'am.
With the State Road 53 business widening project, I think most folks know that the things that we do downtown are going to be greatly affected by that project, and we are going to have to rethink events, and that includes parades, which is probably our most impactful item downtown. Once the project is through, everyone knows it will be one way coming in from 515 using Spring Street, and it will be one way leaving downtown utilizing Church Street. Currently, our approved parade route, which can be run either way, it can be run from Stagall through basically behind the Methodist Church on Spring Street, or it can be run in reverse. That will be nearly impossible to do once 53 is completed and once construction starts, because we will not be able to have Spring Street, the intersection of Spring and Main, and the intersection of Main and Church all closed for an extended period of time, because you're effectively turning, oops, wrong picture. You're effectively just crippling traffic that's running east-west through town. So Public Safety, Public Works, we were asked to see what they could come up with to try and make parades still functional, but knowing that we are going to have issues in the future, they have come up with this.
Thank you, ma'am. Chief Sherrer?
Good evening. As some of you may recall, I think it was back in early 2023, you adopted the current parade route. So therefore, we're here again to modify that based off the information Deputy City Manager Golden presented just a moment ago. When we went through this process, like you said, we brought in police officers as well as Public Works to get a consensus of the different impacts of different agencies and organizations. Our main consideration was for public safety and enjoyment of this event, but also we did take into account the ability to move traffic through town that wasn't necessarily coming to the parade, also the ability for us to manage resources and to facilitate the parade as well. Like I said, the primary driver behind this was public safety. So that being said, we want to keep our existing staging area, which is Stagall Drive. That area is not utilized most of the time by traffic or having our parades. The majority of our parades are Saturdays, therefore we're not having to utilize that. The two parades that are not on Saturdays, which are going to be, well, 3 parades if you do the Christmas parade, that's on a Sunday. But you've got the Veterans Day Parade, and then you've got Homecoming Parade, and those generally run reverse, and they end up being down Stagall. So it shouldn't have an impact there as well. We want to keep Stagall in place. That requires the least amount of resources, as well as a good tucked away area to stage. Because as you know, as a parade, staging is usually the longest part of it. So we're there staging more than we are anything else. So we maintain that. Instead of turning left and going down and coming up BB Carroll and coming to the traditional route, what we're proposing is to pull the bollards up, come straight out, turn left onto Main Street, heading north on Main Street. Instead of ending at the old jail where we normally would at BB Carroll, we want to continue the route down North Main Street. And as you can see on the map, which I believe is in your packets as well, we have 2 proposed endings. So we have one ending on Sanders Street. That will provide for people to be able to line the streets in front of the old jail, the Woodbridge, all the way down through there to be able to see the parade, since we are having to cut short the south main aspect of the parade. So we extended it a little bit that way to provide area for spectators. Then we continue, it could go disperse down Sanders, which would put people back towards the staging area where a lot of people traditionally park, towards Lee Newton. If it's a larger parade, one of our staple parades that we normally have, they bring a lot more spectators, we can extend that out to Lawson Avenue and end it there. And then again, they can disperse down Lawson, get Mary Street, and get back down to Lee Newton, that area where staging is. So it's kind of making a circle, that way we can get the people back that are on the floats to where they are, and it's providing a little more viewing area for the public. Also, hopefully this will free up some parking as well in South Main, since we're not having to close those streets anymore. We won't have to close South Main at all, and we have the potential to be able to leave Depot Street open to make a left turn on it. So, do you have any questions for me regarding this?
Council, any questions for staff? Chief, it says consideration of proposed route, or is staff looking for action this evening?
Yes, we are.
For approval or not?
Council, I'm gonna yield the floor for a motion.
Move that we approve.
Have a motion?
As given.
Have a motion?
Second.
Yes, sir.
Discussion.
Yes, sir.
So if we pass this tonight, not real sure when the 53 project will actually affect us. When would this go into effect?
So we wouldn't put it into effect initially right out of the gate. We planned on, I think, usually which parade did we plan on starting with?
So it makes sense for the Veterans Day Parade, if possible, and then perhaps Homecoming Parade. We have initially kind of just broached the subject with them, not knowing what would happen this evening, how council would feel. We do have a GDOT quarterly meeting tomorrow, though, with the utilities, and in reviewing the paperwork that they've sent out, this project is still on schedule to let this year, and they have project construction starting in 2027. So not knowing where they're gonna start, what's gonna be impacted, we do want to at least get this in front of people and have some of the smaller parades, if possible, start using this route so that they are familiar with it.
One more question. I'm having, I can't visualize, but how we normally put up the fencing and the people are in the chairs. Is there room for that on each side of the road?
There would be room for that, because if you go past D.E. Carroll, which you'll have the same exact setup as you would on North Main Street, because it's the same portion of the route. But once you go past that, you've got the old jail on one side, and then you've got Woodbridge area, which as soon as you pass the Woodbridge, there's a lot of grassy area over there. As well as on the other side, you've got parking lots of businesses that are generally closed during that time as well. So that's gonna provide some parking down there, and there'll be some area for viewing as well. So that's the goal, of the reason we extended it north on North Main Street, is to provide more area for viewing.
Yeah, that was one of my concerns, was that right there at the Woodbridge, that grassy area, there's the large hill that goes down to the railroad.
And we can put some gates up.
Put something up to ensure safety there. That's all I have.
Any further discussion, council? I have a motion and a second. No other discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Thank you, Chief. Item number 3, consideration of Flapjack Run to be held June 20th. Carly Glaze, welcome to the meeting. And it appears you'll be with us for just a minute. There's a few events on here. Welcome.
Just a couple. Good evening, Mayor and Council. First is the estimation at the Flapjack Run for its 27th year, I believe is what we're on. This event is proposed to be held on June the 20th. From approximately 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m., which means we'll probably have the roads closed from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. Main Street Refuge Road will have the same route as the past 27 years, so road closures are obviously involved in this event. And there is a request, as is always, for JPD or some sort of public safety staff. For command center presidents, they usually have them at each kind of side street. And then the only detail to this one is that, as a reminder, there's a previously approved event from the January or February meeting that's also on the same day, June 20th, which is Saturday. So the Flapjack would close the road from 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. The next event would need to reclose the road at 2 p.m. So the pleasure of staff would be that we can just leave it closed, if at all possible, instead of reopening it, turning right around and coming back, closing it again. So.
What portion would be closed?
Oh, South Main, I'm sorry, North Main is not closed. South Main. Because the, Downtown Development Authority sponsored event, with Josh Cantrell is that night. It will begin at 5 and go to around 9 or 10. But they need to start setting up at 2, and we'll leave the first event at 11 a.m.
But the South Main
Just south.
would be closed for both periods.
Yes, so the intersection
Extended
at Red Bean and the intersection at 61 Main and KPV, just that portion, North Main would not be affected.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, you look for a motion for approval and for the street closure to remain in effect all day for South Main.
So move.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Item number 4, consideration of Georgia Mountain Charity Medieval Festival. Ms. Lacey?
Heavy meeting, Mr.
June 20th, in Lee Newton Park, both days are in Lee Newton Park. June 20th, is 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. June 21st, Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. All held within Lee Newton, so no road closures, so it's confined to the park.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, information available in your packet. Yield the floor for a motion.
Motion to accept the proposal as presented.
Have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, council?
Yeah, if I could just learn more about your event, when I saw it on our packet, it brought a big smile to my face, so would love to hear more if you wouldn't mind indulging me.
Mr. Mayor, Council.
Yes.
It's a Renaissance fair. But the theme is gonna be Camelot, and the proceeds, we own the comic book store. Well, I've got a little experience with festivals since I ran about 20 at the thrift store when I was there. So we're doing the same thing, we give away the money. We're gonna be using the whole park, there won't be any jousting, but there'll be swordsmen and jesters and all that. I mean, everything that you have there, the turkey wings, all that kind of stuff, and all the proceeds are gonna go to the public library.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Proceeds to go to who?
Public library.
And one question about
Yes,
the anticipated number of people that are attending. I saw that at 1,000, and I thought that might be just.
Well, we had a Comic-Con here in October.
Yeah.
And we figured we'd have 200-300 people, well, we had about 800 people.
Okay.
So I figured, I have no idea, Your Honor, I have no idea. But,
Hopefully a lot.
Yeah, hopefully a lot.
What would we have to do to get this with the condition of adding the jousting?
I think you have to volunteer.
I don't have the bodies,
Public safety ain't gonna be happy with that.
Council, we have the presentation, as always, I'll mention this on another item. The farmer's market schedule is in use for the park, so you'll have multiple folks at the park, which is a wonderful thing.
Okay.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Item number 5, consideration of DDA's volunteer waiver form. Ms. Glaze.
Yes, so you'll see 2 waiver forms. One is for minors and one is for those over the age of 18. Mr. Siphon has reviewed those for the Downtown Development Authority to be able to have volunteers and assistance with setting up and cleanup of events and monitoring of things, DDA initiatives such as the Christmas trees, etc., to help maybe ease a little bit of the burden of staff time and staff budget.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, this has been reviewed by staff and also legal. Both of these forms, I'll yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve volunteer waivers for events.
I have a motion to approve, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 6, consideration of PACA's request for additional funding. Ms. Angela, there you are, welcome. I knew I saw you.
I feel slighted I have to follow the jousting. Maybe I can be entertaining. Hello, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm here to request, I don't know if you call it an amendment to the PACA budget or a tweak. I'm going to call it a tweak. I am, first of all, I would like to thank you all for supporting Art Walk in the past on Main Street with the funding that you've provided PACA over the past year since 2022. So Art Walk has been around since 2022. This is going to be our 5th season, and 10th event, so I'm very proud about that. So what I'm requesting, I'm actually requesting the same exact dollar amount that I requested in the fall. I'm just requesting that dollar amount be used for 2 events instead of 3 events. And I can kind of give you a little timeline of what my original request was in, Kim, I don't know, is that in November or October? That was in October. October, okay. So we're called in October. My original proposal was $1,200 per Art Walk event. And at that time, I had considered moving the events from 2 back up to 3 per year with encouragement from Kim, staff, and City Council. And I believe that you all approve your budget in December. Is that correct? Okay. And then in January, PACA and myself and our Art Walk Committee decided to make kind of a big move for us and move the events from Friday from 6 to 9 to Saturday from 2 to 8 and do 2 of those larger events. Came before council in February and had those approved. March, it occurred to me that I wasn't sure what amount you all had approved in December. So I thought, well, it seems reasonable to me to ask for that $3,600 to be spread over these 2 events that are twice as long, that are gonna require me to hire twice the number of bands, and hopefully be a really big draw for Jasper. I think we're gonna have a lot of foot traffic on Saturday. I think we're gonna have people from out of town who maybe couldn't make it on Friday come on Saturday. So I really feel like it's gonna be a good event. So that's actually my request. So I don't know if you call that a budget increase or a reallocation. So I guess technically it is more per event. So it would be $1,200, I'm sorry, $600 more per event, but $3,600 is the same. So
Perfect.
I'm happy to answer any questions you might have about anything.
What I will say, Ms. Angela, and I appreciate you being here and doing this, and for those of you that have joined us this evening for the meeting, is we want to be good stewards of taxpayer dollars and any dollars that we receive. And so this is another example of where you were already approved for this amount. And the idea was we would do 3 events, council. Now that has shifted a bit. Ms. Angela is such a good steward that she decided to come out and say, I'm actually only doing 2, but same amount. Are we good with that? That's just the wonderful partnership we have. And so I'm really thankful and really proud of that.
Thank you so much.
Council, any questions you have with Ms. Angela?
One question, there's no other events coinciding with those days, like it'll just be.
No, sir. I've worked closely with the DDA. I hope not. Oh my gosh. At this point, no, I've worked closely with the DDA to work out the calendar dates. So there's nothing, as far as I'm aware, that's overlapping.
You're good.
I'm good. Okay. Carly says I'm good.
Promise.
So.
Well, that's right, sir.
All right, any other questions, council? Yield the floor for a motion for approval.
Motion to approve as stated for the full $3,600, and it's a very small amount, but the joy of great to us.
Thank you so much. I'll try.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, sir? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to good weather.
Yes.
Item number 7, consideration of Jeep Fest camping in Lincoln Park. Mr. Glaze, you are back. Welcome.
Hello. So Jeep Fest camping is in Lee Newton Park, slated from September 3rd, 2026 to September 7th, 2026. On the initial date, the setup begins at 9 a.m. and cleanup will be done by 12 p.m. noon on that Monday. And this is confined to Lee Newton Park, and the map is in your packet area they'll be using. They've been doing this for several years, maybe since the initial Jeep Fest. So, same thing they did last year, because last year the farmer's market was still in Lee Newton for the first time, and they will still be again. So Jeep Fest will be losing that area, but we'll be utilizing the entirety of the rest of the park.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I did speak to Ms. Courtney as soon as this hit us for the agenda, and I allowed it to stay on the agenda after my conversation with Ms. Courtney. Yes, they understood the farmer's market would be in their one section, campers all around. So again, good partnership, built-in shoppers. Yes, ma'am.
Will the farmer's market move over to the veteran side like they did last year so that we can have the side that has power?
We'll accommodate that.
Okay.
Yep. Thank you for asking. Council, yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve event as discussed with them on the power side.
Yes. That is an important part. Thank you for mentioning that. Motion to have a second, council.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Thank you, ma'am. Item number 8, consideration of Marble Festival events.
Lee Newton Park in its entirety for the Marble Festival portion, beginning setup of September 28th, 2026, ending date of 10/5/2026. The setup times are various. They begin again on September 28th, and the completion of cleanup will be 10/5. The parade will follow the city parade route on Main Street on 10/4 at 10 a.m. An event is to be held in Lee Newton Park other than the parade.
Thank you, ma'am. Council?
This will follow the new parade route we just discussed.
That is a potential.
That's what we're looking.
Possibly. We have not talked with the chamber, really a lot of folks, because we needed to get this before y'all first. That is the respectful thing to do. We will speak with them. You know, obviously this year, I think we can work with the old routes for things that we absolutely have to, but at some point, this is no longer going to be a route that we can use. And so we will have to get folks ready to move to something different. And that includes 5K runs. We have spoken with Marble Fest 5K folks. That's at the Methodist Church. We have spoken with the Optimist Club. They do know that this is coming as well. It's the question of finding a route that is actually can meet the sanctioned 5K distance. So we're still working on that.
Okay. Council, I'm gonna yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion is to be approved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same? Thank you, council. Item number 9, consideration of Thunder Creek Motorcycle Rally. Ms. Glaze.
Thunder Creek Motorcycle Rally will be in Lee Newton Park from October the 9th, 2026 to October the 11th, 2026. Same event that they held last year, so nothing new.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion is to be approved.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is second, any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Item number 10, consideration of Spearman Stroll event, physical events. And you have Ms. Amy with you?
Yes.
Okay.
This is an event put on by the Chamber of Commerce. This is the third year. And it's in Lee Newton Park, and the block of time the park is reserved for setup to cleanup completion would begin on December the 8th, 2026, and end on December 12th, 2026.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, you have the floor for a motion.
Move to approve as presented.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion, council?
No, I just wanted to thank Amy. I know this is a big passion project for her and brings a lot of good to the community. It's a free event, right? And so a lot of people with children like myself get to enjoy all your hard work. So thank you very much for your support.
I'll second that, and I believe the two of us will work traffic and parking.
We'll all second that. We've all been there.
Council, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Item number 11, discussion of placemaking initiatives. This is not an action item, this is merely information. Is that accurate?
I believe so, yes.
Yes. Proceed.
So I wrote this down because it's a lot and I didn't want to forget anything, so I'm gonna read from it, and then if you have any questions at the end, I will ask. Because I'm gonna go through this in the packet you have separate from your packet. I'm gonna go in order of the photos that are, you have in front of you. So, placemaking initiatives from Jasper Downtown Development Authority, I'll be presenting those. So, this is an element that the Downtown Development Authority Board, who has recently received their accreditation in the last month and is now an official Main Street Board as well, because this technically falls under a Main Street point, that they have listed in their work plan, which it covers it covers 36 months from last October. So this is in the 2026 time period and was budgeted for in their budget for 2026. So the design committee, which is Pam Watkins, vice chair of the board, Brian Rittenberry, and Morgan Watson-Montesi. They have delegated this to Morgan as the point person, and Parrish Lowry, board chair, has given her full decision-making power for this initiative. So after a meeting that was held a couple of weeks ago, it was decided that the direction would be to consult the Pickens County High School Art Department. And on April 17th, Morgan, a couple of others, and myself will meet with graduation coach Jana Champion and the art director, Ms. Nikki, at the high school, who have selected 3 students to take on the projects proposed. And the DDA funds the purchasing of all the supplies and materials. I set a desired completion date of these projects by September 19th, 2026, because you can't do these kinds of projects once cold weather hits. So that's kind of the timeline I gave the art department when they put that up for consideration. The plan is to have the 3 students that were chosen submit 3 renderings each for the 3 of the 5 projects that do require a design element, because you'll see in a moment that 2 of them do not. And then these designs will be reviewed by Morgan of the DDA, her sister and business partner, co-owner of Rag & Bone, Miss Hannah Watson, myself, and a volunteer, Miss Tiffany Snow, who also works at the Boundary Business. Salon 84, she works with Miss Amy Lee, former chair of DDA. So number 1 is just a refurbishment effort, so it would just be considered a part of revitalization, making what is already there just look new again because it's faded, is repainting or resurfacing the Bowens parking lot, painted signage that's on the side of that building that is the first in your packet. The second section will cover Shaull Alley. So the first initial one, I believe, covers the asphalt signage at the bollards that fronts North Main. So in the past, I believe it was asked that this be painted as is the back end of Shaull to be a fire lane. If that is still the case, then obviously we would do that. If that is no longer the desire, then a signage similar to what's in the photo would say Shaull Alley and be painted on the ground by the artists. So then second would be on the side of LC Taco in Shaull Alley and would say welcome to Shaull Alley, Jasper, GA, and that would be kind of the sign type, and there's a size reference for you on that one. This third one doesn't require a design element necessarily. This was Pam's idea, vice chair of the board. It is a life-size chessboard. You may have seen them in other areas. I know there's one at like the Halcyon down in Forsyth County, where So this would go at the bottom of Stegall in the flat area. Pam and Daniel have measured it out. They assured me it's flat enough and it will fit. It looks fine to me. So this will be painted onto the ground and the DDA will purchase the pieces. So it kind of creates an activity space for all ages to go along with. Just it's also a piece of placemaking public art. The goal of the two Stegall ones and this one really is just a sense of identity. Which is the whole point of placemaking with the Main Street Design Initiative. Last one, so a little bit of backstory. Since I started working here, the boundary business owners, and by that I mean the small business owners that are in the boundaries for Jasper's Main Street program, and then staff have a recurring issue that I think is odd. People don't understand that the public restrooms are public restrooms. They will go into Sharp Top Distilling or walk down to us at KPB at the porta potties where they just come from the public restrooms and say, where are the public restrooms? We can't find them. So we started kind of toying around with ideas on how to make that obvious, but in an aesthetic or charming way, for lack of a better word. After talking with other staff, I think number 3 is the preferred option from a staff level. And that is all I have, because Brendan will be speaking more about that. So thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Carly. Mr. Mayor, Council. What she meant to say was Brandon doesn't like paint on our bathrooms, so that would be our recommendation, my recommendation. So I told her, I said, it's not for her to say, because I do come from a community that the whole placemaking and main streets, and it is a sense of place. It is something that I think is beneficial. I do think that the public buy-in by way of you all not having an issue with doing some juried artists, homegrown on Stegall, along with having some of our private partners continue to refurbish some existing and/or offer an opportunity on their building for kind of some placemaking welcome. However, I do think that the time and effort and energy to put into the brick to try to match should be preserved. I do think that having appropriate signage, the mayor and I were looking last week, and there's like this little little place right in front of it that a little monument type signage could go on. I think it'd be beneficial. Since Carly called me out, I'm gonna call her out. I love banners that say public restrooms, but she does not. I don't know if DDA would want so I think the compromise is no to banners, no to painting, maybe a sign. So again, unless council or the elected has some sort of just overall need to do something on bathrooms, we were going to move forward with the signage on the ground, and then Dan and Angela can report back to us when people just now all of a sudden go to the bathroom.
It's right out my window.
Yeah, so now there's signage on it to pull. Because you don't do the hands to pull. So now we're gonna put a sign that says, restroom. So I think we're getting there. So I think we should be good.
Thank you, sir. I certainly appreciate that aspect. I think signage is important for the public parking that is available in the public restrooms. Council, any comments before we move on to the next matter?
I have a couple questions.
Yes, sir.
The chessboard that was gonna be painted on the, where'd she go?
Sorry, I should have said that. I'm sorry.
The chessboard that you're referring to will be painted on the street. Would
Yes.
there be a lot of foot traffic, and would that be
Yes.
continual maintenance, repainting monthly or whatever?
Well, not monthly. I'm told, I'm not an artist, that there are product sealants, I don't know, processes. So where it shouldn't have to happen too often, but yes, they're aware it'll be kind of a continual maintenance thing, but it's fairly inexpensive, and the DDA will take care of that.
And then the other, I'm just throwing this out there, it wasn't part of the discussion, but has there been discussion about like a 4-sided kiosk with a city map that could be placed anywhere in the city?
You have the volume in my phone, but it's, yes, there is. That, exactly that. It was actually brought up by Courtney, who is actually with North Georgia Family Partners at a meeting we had with Parrish, Lowry, Board Chair, and Morgan, who were the DA board representatives, a few volunteers, Courtney was there. That we thought a good location for that might be on South Main, but to do exactly that, a kiosk with the downtown map of the entire boundary and then breaking it down by business type, services, food, shopping, all of that. And then also have a QR code where people can scan it onto their phone to carry around with them to eliminate brochures that we might print that might just get left or thrown away or litter. Because Jared probably wouldn't like that very much if we had litters.
Can I make a comment? Sure.
I mean, I don't
Yes,
think that's my call.
Go ahead,
Is that okay? Sorry.
Go ahead.
So people think that we're an info booth. Like, and especially in the summer, when we have the sandwich serving window from when it was a sandwich shop opens, people always stop by to have people ask me where they get their driver's license, where they get their license plate, what restaurants to go to. Like, we are an info center, the KPB office. And so I already have a plan, I just haven't been able to afford it yet, to put up a plexi board on one of our arbors. I want it to be plexi so it's not blocking the view, with exactly that, QR codes for all the restaurants on Main Street with their name, their address, and a QR code to their website. We just haven't done it yet, but you're welcome to use our corner.
That was actually where the proposed location out of the meeting was, but because this would probably be a beginning of 2027 install, I just brought it up to you yet. But that actually was the proposed location.
So, yes, something will happen.
So yes, that was brought up very recently, right before I left to go to Thomasville 2 weeks ago.
So would you like me to tell you some other stuff on your phone?
I mean, I guess, that was dead on, like exactly what Courtney suggested.
And we are working too on the website for the DDA, so we're updating that and working on the directory and so forth. So we do have a lot of great projects upcoming here in the next 36 months.
Yeah, I'm working on it, working on it.
Any further questions or comments, council? All right, thank you, ma'am. Item number 12, consideration of opening checking account for excess funds from the former Jasper Development Authority. Ms. Williams, welcome to the meeting, ma'am.
Thank you. I'm about frozen, but we must have a speak. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So as the Mayor said, the staff was contacted regarding a dormant account that belonged to the Jasper Development Authority, which is surely different than the Downtown Development Authority. But it is still a component unit of the city of Jasper. So the account was closed and they issued us a check for the funds. And so we're requesting to open a new account at United Community Bank with Mayor Kirk Raffield, Councilmember Jim Looney, and City Manager Brandon Douglas as signers for this account. It will be in the Jasper Development Authority's name until we get further direction from the council.
Thank you, ma'am. One question I have before we open the floor is it ill-advised, and I'm asking both staff members, Mr. Douglas and Ms. Williams, for the signers to be us, or is it appropriate for this council to go ahead and decide which signers on DBA they would like established? Which do you prefer?
It's not a DBA account, the Jasper Development Authority accounts, two different entities. So right now, we currently don't have the board for the Jasper Development Authority. Well, a long time since there's been anybody on board, so y'all can recommend signers or not over something.
So the intent would be for these monies to be utilized by the Jasper Downtown Development Authority. I think once we work with legal and figure out a way that we can
make that happen.
Make it happen. But again, from a just management, from a philosophical, this was something that has just been lingering. There's another dormant account that's probably $1,000 somewhere that, quite candidly, is just going to go away because this is just decades worth of cleanup. The 15 was enough that we felt as though it was at least appropriate to do this initial stage. I will say that in my mind, and what I told Councilwoman Chair and a few other councils is, it's one of those that this is just our contribution to the DA eventually, however we can do it. Honestly.
Thank you. Council, I will yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion the bank account be open.
That motion cover the signers
Yes,
as presented?
as presented.
Have a motion, do I have a
Thank
second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Next item, consideration of resolution 2026-03 for the 2025 general fund budget end of year amendments. Ms. Williams.
Thank you. So finally getting around to the year 2025 budget amendments. So you'll find in your packet that the budget amendments are in there. These were presented to the admin committee, so they have been reviewed. If you notice in the amendment, there is no use of fund balance, which is a positive. We're very thankful for that. But we're just looking for approval of the resolution.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, you have the floor for a motion.
Motion to approve the resolution as submitted.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second, any discussion, council?
This was discussed at the administrative committee meeting and approved at that meeting also.
Thank you, sir. And before we do move on, I call for a vote. Next step, auditors will be present next few months.
They should be usually present in June, so we're looking forward to that presentation.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Thank you, ma'am. Next item, consideration of resolution 2026-04, authorizing issuance and sale of the City of Jasper general obligation sales tax bond, principal amount of $4.5 million, and to authorize the mayor and city clerk and finance director to execute any and all documents related thereto for the completion of this action. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, and I would like to commend Lindsay. It is always tough, just going back one item about the financials. We'll be working on the 2026 mid-year budget amendments starting about now, thereabouts, and you'll have those, the audit presentation for 2025 in June, and then you'll have the 2026 budget amendments in July. So again, when we're talking in the February retreat, we already know we have things that we're going to do. We had already had a pretty good idea about the financial position for 2025 based upon some revenues and based upon some conservative expenditures. And this is going somewhere because to Mr. Terry's point and to others, we had anticipated on being able to issue a general obligation bond. It was approved by the voters in September of 2025, November of 2025. And although we were authorized to go up to $5.65 million, through working with our financial consultants, and we do have our bond counsel and financial advisors here if y'all have any specific questions y'all like to ask. But once we kind of got into it and realized that based upon the proceeds that we receive each month from SPLOST, you have to pledge those monies towards the payment of this GO. So Dave, even though we had anticipated hopefully trying to get 5.6, we're only going to be getting a little over 4 million because of issuance costs and based upon the fact that we do have to be mindful that historically we're in that 90 to 95,000 per month collection rate. So although we'd love to have that extra $1 million+ to go towards our infrastructure or other capital needs, it is just a matter of, that is our capital count is SPLOST. And so the 4.5 million, I think we'll net out about 4.3 to 4.4. We will use the lion's share towards water projects. So with that, Raymond James, our financial consultant, was able to put this out for a private placement bond. I believe we had 5 bidders, and I believe the lowest was 3.32%. Again, this is hopefully going to be paid for 100% through SPLOST, but because it is a GO bond, it is backed by the taxing authority of the jurisdiction. So the one reason we do take a conservative approach instead of trying to inch it towards the 5 million plus issuance of the bond in hopes that we're gonna get 110,000 a month over a course of 60 months, we scale that back to around 96,000 just to leave us some room. So with that, I believe it's pretty straightforward. We've been talking about this for months now, and the time is upon us. If you all were to favorably consider this resolution, I believe we would close by April 16th, and soon thereafter, we can then start, we've already identified some projects, but then we can kind of start putting some money towards those.
Thank you, sir. Council's consideration of the resolution 2026-04 and authorize the mayor, the clerk, and the CFO to sign any and all documents. We'll yield the floor.
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-04, authorizing the issuance and sale of the City of Jasper's general obligation sales tax bond in the principal amount of $4,500,000, and to authorize the mayor, city clerk, and finance director to execute any and all documents related thereto for the completion of the same.
Thanks, sir. I have a motion. Do I have a second? Motion and a second. Any discussion, council? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. 15, consideration and approval of new bank account for general obligation bonds for 2026 SPLOST. Mr. Douglas.
Thank you, Mayor. This is just, Lindsay reminded me, and I probably should have just put her down, but at some point in time, I do like us all. This is just to house the money, so that we don't co-mingle, and so that auditors, in the future don't get onto us. This is just to segregate them like we see.
Thank you, sir. Council, will yield the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to approve opening of a new checking account to deposit project funds from the GO office.
2026 SPLOST.
Thank you.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And does that include signers? CFO, mayor, and city manager?
No, not CFO.
Not CFO.
Who do you need as signers on this motion?
Me and you and the mayor pro tem.
Mr. Looney, myself, and the CM. If you'll restate your motion, please, sir.
Make a motion to approve the opening of new checking amount to deposit project funds from the 2026 SPLOST and general obligation bonds with the signers being the mayor, Jim Looney, and Brandon Douglas.
Thanks, sir. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion, council?
In the last one, we stated the bank it was going in. Is that something we need to do on this one, or?
It's listed in the bond resolution, but it's affiliate Regions Bank. That's the purchaser.
Thank you, sir. Council, any further comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Committee reports, development, local infrastructure.
Nothing to add, Mr. Mayor. No, I'm just kidding. We have been rocking and rolling. It's been a busy March. We were able to meet downtown this past month to discuss a lot of different projects that are incoming. One, meeting with staff about the bollards going in over on Whitfield, not to be confused with Mark Wahlberg Street. But, so that was one thing we discussed. The other discussion we had was around doctor's requests for charging stations. And so we wanted to have a discussion with full council from committee. It has, we agree with it and we'd like to see it. But we needed to discuss locations and if they were going to be free charging stations or paid charging stations. So the installation costs of stations will be assisted by Dr. Keller, and then we just need the buy-in from Waiver. And we were thinking originally, the way it was pitched at the EDA meeting for Dr. Keller was one in front of, Kevin Roper's building on North Main and then one on South Main Street. We have talked to some business owners and that location has changed. And one thing to help with our public parking that no one knows in front of our bathrooms, we were thinking that that would be the perfect location for North Main Street and then the one on South Main Street.
Thank you, sir. So the The charging stations came up, ACC and Dr. Keller presented the idea. Committee heard it, staff has heard it, council. Looking for some input on locations. I think committee was asked for two things. Number one, locations, and then number two, is it paid parking or is it free parking? For the charging, not the actual parking, the charging. I'll open the floor for some discussion.
So your location is where the public restrooms are?
Correct.
Who's charging, and how many charging stations?
It's going to be 2 total, one there by the bathrooms and then one at the end of South Main.
And each one will be the class B, they're not gonna be super fast, that will take like 30 to
Yeah. And his thought was, when he first approached DDA about it, was have time for people to charge their vehicles and shop and eat downtown. So there's a little thought process of tourism and capturing that. The other great thing too is that you'd be part of the database. You can promote saying, hey, there are chargers here. So if you are planning a trip with your electric vehicle, you can see that City of Jasper has chargers there for you.
And this doesn't include the motorcycle charging stations that we discussed?
The motorcycle, no sir, no.
And once they were installed, we're not discussing.
Well, that's what we were trying to figure out too. Like, what wanted council's help with was, the free versus paid parking. You know, is the city going to absorb that cost from those chargers when someone comes in with an electric vehicle, or is it you can put a card reader on that machine? And I don't know if you can put a card reader on the machine. I would imagine you would be able to capture funding.
Council thoughts?
My thoughts are, if you're trying to bring in tourists, that we not charge them to charge their vehicle. That's just how.
I agree. I think we move on, and if it becomes an issue, then we can react to an issue. But I'm not expecting one on this.
Mayor, do we need a motion for this to move forward and have staff start working with Dr. Keller and the ACC, or is this something that we can just take it and run with without the motion?
So far, you've made some progress on free charging. And now I believe if we nail down locations, are we okay with the proposed location?
Where is the exact location of South Main?
Oh, off the top of my head, it was right there at the end of South Main, across from 61 Main, over by Baird's building. So promote some, keep things beautiful, and then also too the electric charge.
So is Barry going to get out and wash the cars?
Yeah, maybe that could be a business proposal that Barry can put together to wash cars while they do charge.
Mr. Douglas, would you prefer this to be in a motion, sir?
Because the parking, not so much, because we're not really eliminating public parking, it's just designating. But because we would be absorbing the costs associated with it, I do want there to be council action. And I also think that it's beneficial for the downtown to know that this is a concerted effort by the elected body to help draw in tourism. Just another example of our support. So
fantastic.
And it's also a public-private initiative. I like this, so, yeah.
Council, I'm going to yield the floor for a motion to allow 2 charging, electric vehicle charging stations to be implemented in downtown. That will be free, not charged to charge. Yield the floor.
So moved.
Have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed, same. Thank you, council.
Now, something else that we talked about, and I'll jump around here. I was excited. I met a business owner from downtown Jasper, and the first question I asked is, what can the city do to help you in your business? And he stated to close down Railroad Street, which is that cut through behind the tire shop and in front of the train depot. And then when we were on site discussing it, it was actually part of staff's discussion that was added to it. So that was something that we wanted to look at and hopefully gauge where the rest of council was at to see if we can go ahead and close Train Street. I think it also will help out too once the roundabout comes around, so people don't take that cut through and come back through there.
What I'm gonna do, council, on this one, in committee is on, I believe it's Railroad Street, is that accurate?
Railroad Street, yes, sir.
On Railroad Street, council, you've heard that there's an initiative to close that street. There may be some legalities that we need to pursue. What I'll do is I'll ask all council members, throughout the month, number one, visit the site. Number two, provide feedback individually to your committee members. And I will place this on your committee update for next month, for potential action on our part as a city. I think there's a little bit more research we might do.
Okay, perfect. Well, outside of that, we also met over there at Wall Street and discussed the road there that is in between Wall Street Arbor, Hensley Plaza, Texaco, and one thing too that addressed some parking. We were talking about making that a one-way and adding diagonal parking spots into the road there. So Wall Street would become a one-way. And me, I didn't know if you had an update from Tesco to see their preference, because they do have tankers coming in and out of there. So
Yes, they responded again with the same, they wanted to go out towards 53, not the one way towards 53. So you can have that loop coming from behind the court and come out Wall Street and then get 53.
so coming out and then turning.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that was one thing that we needed y'all's assistance was with directional and diagonal parking spots. So direction coming out to 53 and then also to diagonal parking.
Council, what I'll ask for, I'm going to look for a motion to approve that we allow Wall Street to be converted to a one-directional, one-way street facing traffic going towards Highway 53, and also for us to amend the ordinance to allow slant parking in our central business district for this specific use on Wall Street. I want to yield the floor for a motion.
Yes, required.
I do not believe it requires a type of hearing because we're simply changing direction, not abandoning a roadway. Mr. Simon?
I think y'all can change the direction without having a public hearing. Yep. Yep.
Council, yield the floor for a motion.
So
Have a motion
second.
and a second. Any discussion, council?
The angled parking would be on both sides of the road.
Staff can determine based on width. We don't have that determined yet.
And that's one of my concerns is,
It will be on the
are they
outside.
bringing tankers in off from that will the Texaco be bringing tankers in on
So
that
they-
road, or can they access from?
They can also access from 53 and Wall Street, so they can actually make themselves like
Okay.
that.
I just
If
don't
you
want
can
the angled
visualize.
parking to.
Right, I mean, we have
Distract
to,
them.
yeah, there'll be an area that you'll, because of how the way the Wall Street Hensley Plaza is set up as well, we have to be cognizant of the handicap parking over there and also an entryway over there, and I think it'll line up nicely. We'll definitely take that into consideration.
No.
So the tankers will come in and around and take a right into
So-
the station?
So if you're coming down 53, they can go in that way and then out through Wall Street. Now, you know how they have that huge parking area right there that nobody's ever parked at. And yeah, in the future, they may have to do other things in order to facilitate filling up. It might be they park on the roadway at 3 a.m. to fill it in, things like that. But once we, start hashing things out a little bit more, we'll have more directionality. But they're doing it right now, and there is parking on. People do park on that road. Yeah. Legally or not legally, so.
I trust you're gonna look at it.
Have a motion, a second. Any further discussion, council? Before we move on, I am glad you stuck around because those actual items that we discussed earlier based on polls are important. This council has taken this initiative with Mr. Terry for months now, and this is another public-private partnership where Mr. Terry has done his part, the city's gonna do our part. I appreciate everyone's patience. So we are going to create more downtown parking for our businesses and our citizens. All in favor? Opposed, say. Thank you, council. Anything else from development and local infrastructure?
I'd like to talk about Pioneer, Burnt Mountain up here, by the, we call it the Figgly Wiggly. Like to see about getting, got some helmet, I'd like to see about getting a traffic study, like putting a right-hand turn lane right there. But we want to get thoughts of council on that too.
Pioneer coming out on the Burn Mountain.
If anybody's ever come out there in the morning, there's always somebody turning left and you got to turn right.
Council? Open the floor for discussion on a traffic study for Pioneer and Burnt Mountain for that turn lane. That enhancement.
Talked about it long enough, let's go do it.
All right, I'm gonna yield the floor.
Mayor, because we've gotten a quote from Kimley Horn to actually prefer, can you include that part in your motion, please?
When was that quote received? Is it recent enough?
Yes, it is. It was in March sometime.
Perfect. The Kimley Horn quote that we have on staff level, council, I'm gonna ask that we approve that in order to complete this traffic study.
How much was the quote?
I believe it's $47,000. And it's more than the traffic study. It is also coming up with the plans and getting us basically all the way through to the point of knowing how much this may cost, because there is going to be pretty significant utility relocation that would be required if you proceed with this.
Yeah.
And not to be cynical, but just because it has been a couple of months since we got a quote, I really would like for not to exceed 50,000, just so we don't have to come back and ask. Hopefully they'll honor their quote, but I don't know.
Council yield the floor for a motion to not to exceed the amount of 50,000 for this quote / traffic study.
So moved.
Have a motion, or have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion, council? All in favor? Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Anything else from the development of local infrastructure?
Just a big congratulations to Jasper EDA for their Main Street accreditation to the affiliate level as well. So that's another big thing.
Thank you. Finance and admin?
That's me. As presented tonight, final budget amendments have been approved, and that helps us wrap up the audit, which we are expecting to have presented at our June meeting for information. Staff continues to work on the proposed 2026 mid-year budget amendments, and that will be presented at our July meeting. The general obligation bond that we approved, I want to thank staff and committee for working to get that done. The administrative committee, has reviewed recent financials with staff, and the revenues that come from thus far appear to be in line with our expectations. Expenditures within the departments have been appropriately controlled, and some tight vacancies, enlighten vacancies, and other operational issues. The city has had to use overtime to cover these open positions. And that again is for your information. That continues to be monitored by the staff. Right now, we're looking at 8 vacancies. So when you do look at numbers, expect the overtime to see overtime being used to cover those costs. City has received general liability insurance renewal. It's about 4% higher than we budgeted for in 2026. We'll have to react to that at some point.
Thank you, sir. Anything further from committee? Moving on to enterprise.
Me again.
Indeed.
You all remember the information we gave about the sanitation vehicle that was damaged. It has been determined to be a total loss. City is continuing to determine how they want to service the customers without interruption. They are servicing customers without interruption currently, utilizing the insurance money to purchase a multi-purpose vehicle that will be used in downtown sanitation pickup. Joint committee meeting with city and county has been scheduled for Tuesday, May 5th at 6 o'clock at the library. Tell everybody to make sure that gets on the calendars. Clear Lakes project is about 45% complete. Water project, water line project out there. Work on low-lying area on A.W. Lawson across from the Adult Detention Center has been completed, and right now water is draining appropriately. Sewer rehab project is at 60% complete. Master lift station project has been delayed, and identified we may need to relocate a force main in the road to access right-of-way and easements. Team has commissioned beginning stages of performing ground penetration radar along Cove for the intake and determine feasibility of replacement and where. So work continues. And a lot of
I might add also, as a part of the committee, that we have met with developers on several different occasions. Folks have been constructive. They have listened and they have seen the issues that we face as a city. We hope that we can wind up doing some public-private partnerships with some of them as things increase with the water sources that we hope that we will obtain in the future. As to that, staff has been most helpful in determining that that our thrust right now is towards Gilmer County, and that will continue until we see that that does not play out in our favor, or does so. We're working with the county. It's going to be one of the best things that we can do as a city, and we look forward to their help in solving the issues that we currently face as combined.
Thank you, committee. Parks and properties.
That'd be me.
Indeed.
I'm gonna just start with the big one, Peace Park. We've heard from Dave Terry with SBDC. We worked from Terry with KPB. First of all, I just want to commend you guys on the work you did at the Kirby Clinton cabin and the old jail. It's absolutely beautiful. It's amazing what you guys accomplished out there. We went out together, we looked at the lower part of that corner there, the grassy area and what could be done. I think the May 9th Volunteer Day is an amazing opportunity to bring community together. I think they got a good idea of what would make that flow from that corner at Mark Whitfield all the way up to the old jail and make it all unified. And they were asking for financial funding, a little help from city. And I believe it would be a small investment with a huge return for our community. They've also talked about having excess volunteers that would come up into town, maybe wash some windows for local businesses, patronize the local businesses during that day. If you enter Jasper from the north end right now, that first view is, lack of a better word, it's not very pretty. And I think this is an opportunity for us to get it, some beautification going on there. Use the help of the volunteers, use Dave, Terry, and Barrett, and I think we should just discuss going ahead and approving some financial funding to help them with that project. I have a list of some of the materials they are needing that day. And I wanted to ask Barry, did you have some pavers that will do that side
Yeah,
to hold the soil in?
Yeah, so one of the things that Jen was suggesting is, last year the city bought 60, I think there's 16 square, 14 square, something like that, pavers. And so when we were out there that day meeting and talking about helping to control the water as it's flowing towards Mark Whitfield Street, trying to get it down towards that storm drain, you had come up with the idea of putting like 6x6 beams and, maybe if they're temporary, just until everything sets in place to help control the water to that direction. And Jen came up with the idea of maybe stacking the pavers that the city already has as a little low-edged wall, and that way you'd have a lot of flexibility once you saw where the water was going to make holes in the pavers like Lego to let the water go to where it wanted to, or where we wanted to.
Down to that lower drain.
Yeah, down at the lower drain. So where you were talking about putting the 6x6s to instead make a little stacked wall with the pavers that the city already owns.
And
We
we
still have them.
already have access to that.
Yep, so that was her recommendation, which seemed to make a lot of sense to me. It's up to you guys.
I just think it's a small investment for us, and it would just make, when you enter into the city from the north end, it would be so much more welcoming and a small investment. And I believe it would be a huge benefit for us with very little
Do you have a quote or a budget you're asking for? We spoke.
We had spoke about $1,000. They'd asked for $1,500. I was gonna make a motion that we approve $1,250, meet in the middle, and help them out with that. And make a motion that we just approve $1,250 for the funding approval to help them out with that May 9th volunteer day.
Council, I have a motion for $1,250 funding for this downtown project in partnership with others. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second, any discussion, council? Thank y'all for doing this. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. Back to committee.
We do want to discuss this for a minute, the grand opening for Parole Park. We had talked about the who, what, where, and the when. One thing we thought we discussed and looked at and how we need to really get the ball rolling, but as that is a community park, we wanted to talk to the high school, maybe get the chorus band, get the band, recognize some of our star athletes, our baseball teams that day. Let it be about the community, let it be about the youth. Let that opening day just really focus on a lot of our youth in the community and just let it be community oriented instead of just opening day party. So I don't know where the rest of the council stands on that, but I think that would be a grand idea. Just a lot of
Council, I'm gonna open the floor.
Well, if we did,
Thoughts?
did you get a chance to talk to the school?
We have their emails, it's gonna be summertime,
Yeah.
so there's no promise on students showing up, and they will do their best.
Okay.
Thoughts, council?
So, how many, do you have a specific list of people that will be invited to this event?
Oh, you asking me?
Yes.
This is just spitballing, I have no idea, just.
Okay, so is it something that we can invite the public at large?
Oh, yeah.
We can do that.
The original stakeholder group,
Mm,
we'll
maybe.
have an entire list of folks, yeah.
And also some of our, elected officials at the city level that might like to, be a part of this, since it's gonna be, you know, a park in our county. It's very important in years to come. So I think that we can look at that and invite our state rep and a few other people.
Well, we have a list of individuals that were invited to the groundbreaking that
Got washed out. Yeah, I believe the idea here, what committee's looking for is the idea of activities. We'll certainly be open to inviting everyone. The public will be invited, we'll make a large announcement about it, we'll have invitations go out to the elected officials.
Good.
At the state level and the county level. But activity wise, I think that's, committee was looking for what activities would we like to see there that day.
Well, and me personally, looking for direction and get us all, focused in the same direction, and, because we're really running out of time to make that decision. And I think at some point we need to have more guidance on what the rules, regulations, what things are gonna look like, what we expect, parking, I don't know if, First Baptist would allow us to use parking there if we've approached that. But there's just things I think we need to talk about because we're getting really close to opening day.
These.
Any suggestions of activities or groups to be invited?
Man, we just sat here and approved so many events tonight, and I think, I mean, talking about community-minded, all these organizations, PACA, North Georgia Family Partners, setting them up with a table so people can learn about all the resources and clubs, organizations that are at our access. Yeah, I mean, just, I would love to see that if we're thinking about community and invite all these clubs that we're approving events for to come out to set a table so they can let people know about them and what they do.
And what they have coming up.
Yeah, what they have coming up as well.
All right, we can proceed with that.
And one more thing, you told me, council has had some discussion about what we're going to be having to do to set up rules and regulations for the park. And to Tony's point there, that he's gonna have to work with staff, and that is going to require a ton of thought. We do have some rules already in place, but there's gonna be a lot of other rules that will be necessary for the park. So it's not too soon to start that process.
Agreed. Back to committee.
That's it.
Mayor, not to belabor it, but is there a general time frame? We had suggested to the committee sometime in June. So I don't want to just completely hold you to it.
We looked at June 6th, Saturday.
We had, I think so, it's June 6th.
What time of day would we prefer?
It's a Saturday.
Did I hear 13th?
June 16th.
So on the 13th?
Yeah, I would, 13th would work better with my schedule.
That's what I thought.
I'm glad there's two.
I'm fine with that.
You too?
Okay, June 13th.
Well,
That is a downtown live?
Yep.
June 13th?
Yes, sir.
If, can I say something?
You can come forward, yes.
One better day.
Yeah, it'd be a great time to.
Unless there's an issue from staff higher than me or mayor and council that, Public Works, Public Safety and myself have discussed it. And actually having it on the same day we're already gonna be at work on a Saturday is actually fine from an event standpoint from myself, DDA, Public Safety and Public Works. So that's, but if it's council's pleasure, otherwise that's fine, so, you know, we have already discussed that. And it is Josh and I's preference, for sure.
For the 13th,
Yeah, because we'll already be at work.
already be down here.
Yeah.
And I think that gives maybe people who are just visiting the city an opportunity to walk down and see what's going on. So I think that's helpful.
Now, I'm gonna address the elephant in the room, Ms. Goldner, if you don't mind standing up at the podium and explaining why we're not using the park for Downtown Live on June 13th. The
Yes.
logistics behind that and the reasoning behind it. There is a reason.
Sure, so the reason why Downtown Live was not proposed for Perot Park for the first 3 events is because the park has always been slated to be finished around the beginning of June. They're ahead of schedule, so it looks like we will be done in May, but not knowing what the weather was going to bring, not knowing what kind of procurement issues they may have, construction issues, things like that. We did not want to force a date that we ultimately may not be able to accommodate upon both the contractor and ourselves. And so Downtown Live will actually start in Perot with the September and October events. But the idea is to have it in Perot after that, moving forward.
Thanks, ma'am. I wanted to address that elephant as it was sitting in the room. Council, June 13th, in conjunction, what time does Downtown Live start?
Road close at 2 p.m.
Roads close at 2, the event starts at 4. What would staff's recommendation or council's recommendation be for the Perot Park grand opening ribbon cutting timing on the 13th?
My thoughts are that we secure what the entertainment's gonna look like that day. But because we're not certain it can be banned in schools.
But before Downtown Live kicks off.
Yeah, I would think.
All right, I'm going to tentatively pencil in a 1 p.m. on that date.
That would give those people that we're going to allow to set up figures in their please time. You know, that's not a bad. I was thinking either 11 or 1 myself, so yeah, I'm thinking 1 might be a little cooler. It's a little hot and chilly.
What time does staff show up for Downtown Live?
7 a.m.
All right, so timing does not matter that morning. So I hear a morning and an afternoon.
Is 1 o'clock long enough between the time that we're going to kick off Downtown Live? Yeah, I'll give people 2 off and look at it.
Downtown Live, the concert starts at what time, Ms. Glaze?
5 o'clock.
5 p.m., that's 4 hours, Kim.
Yeah. Staff just has to be, some of the closed doors will have to be on their jet suit.
Yep. I'm gonna propose a 1 p.m. council on the 13th.
And if the committee wants to look at another time, bring it back to us. Committee and staff.
Any other questions out of committee on it? Public safety.
Well, March definitely will always be remembered. Been praying for our first responders out there in our community. Just been thinking about you guys a lot. And I know there's a lot of people in our community that have been thinking about you as well. Outside of that, the incidents that happened, they have been moving forward with some good work. We are currently reviewing some ordinances to look at to better serve our residents and aim also to help our staff as well. So those will be coming up in the upcoming months. And then one of the best news, I guess you can say, from our fire department is our new fire engine is set to be delivered next month, which was funded with SPLOST money. So that is a big win for our community, and really excited to have that in operation. So we're nearing the end of the line for that fire truck.
Anything further from committee?
Oh, and also too, I do want to thank council, approving, offering the opportunity for us to have an employee assistance program. This is why we have it. So yes, it was an investment, but it's a great investment. So thank you, council, for getting on board with that and supporting that endeavor.
Thank you, committee.
I apologize, but I have one more parks and property I'd like to just hit
Yes,
on real quick.
Go ahead.
The 2 ball fields at City Park, we've met, committee and staff have met there. We have 10 travel ball teams who practice there. They had some requests for lights and water. And that was, we all pulled together. Mr. Faust has great knowledge of those fields and was able to help get the power, get the water on. Everybody was pleased, but we are working towards getting these travel ball teams to get together, a committee or a board, and get us an intergovernmental agreement that we can start with that, because they want to resurface some things, get the batting cages up to par. And in order to do that, I think they're going to have to put together a committee that we can work with, get some intergovernmental agreements, liability issues worked out. But Mr. Faust has been a big help in that, and we've made great strides, I think. So that's what
Good meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So, would they be wanting to lease the fields?
That's why we need to get them to get together a committee, a board, a 501c3, a nonprofit organization that we can begin to work through the legalities and what needs to happen, so that it runs through staff and council.
What they want to do is get the fields up to where they play tournament ball versus traditional every Saturday. They round robin. So they're wanting to put some tournaments and stuff on, but the fields have got to be brought up to shape before we can do any of that. And so hopefully we can get things worked out.
Yeah, if we can do that, those round robin tournaments bring a lot of people in for lodging, visiting our downtown businesses. So if we can pull it off, it'd be great for our community.
Good too.
Thank you, sir. Anything further from public safety?
No, sir, nothing.
This time, city manager comments.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So admin talked a little bit about it, but the general liability insurance, it was 4% over what we budgeted. That's a good way of saying that we budgeted 10%, so it was really 14% over. Just wanted to clarify that unfortunately, as much as we try to hit the mark, there are these things like insurance that we just don't ever know. We hope for the best. With that being said, I believe we do have scheduled in May our work session. We will confirm, but I would encourage each of you to attend. We had talked with our broker last year when we were kind of walking through some of the options for health insurance. I don't think that we're going to continue to be able to negotiate a favorable reduction. Maybe we will, but we are going to walk through options that are out there relative to plan designs. So our broker, MSI, is scheduled to come. Go ahead and start talking about it now, because in August is usually about the time that we try to start soliciting for quotes, renewals, for us to then start working on the 27 budget in the August, September, October timeframe. So please attend. And if it helps, I'm probably not going to be here. So there's some incentive for you there that you can hear straight, unfiltered from MSI and Lori without my influence at all. So there's something for that. Also, City Hall is nearing completion of the lobby area. We do have some continued ideas that what we want to do is continue to have a good experience for our customers and our employees for safety perspective. Stick around. I do want to share with y'all some thoughts about continued ADA and safety concerns I want to have for other parts of the building. But beyond that, y'all covered quite a bit tonight, so I'll reserve anything else. Unless Kim has something that she's just itching to talk about.
Ms. Kim?
No itches, thank you.
Moving on to city council comments. Council, I'll open the floor for general conversation.
I have one, something piqued my ear, the GDOT. You were saying you're meeting with GDOT tomorrow, and then with all this work that's gonna be underway over the next year or 2 years that it takes to finalize this 53 project. I didn't know, I don't know how to say this. My uncle was a business owner. GDOT came in and redid the road, and he had to end up closing down his business because of all the construction and so forth. So really just thinking about our businesses. Like, I didn't know if GDOT had any best practices that while we go through this construction, if they have any resources or information that we can continue to help our businesses. I'm sure a lot of it is just communication, letting people know when it is, but if tomorrow you're meeting with them and they have any best practices that helps for our businesses, it'd be great to get those out.
So from my understanding, they do have kind of a process for extra signage and temporary things that help folks navigate to areas that they're working in. Keep in mind, when they start this project, at whatever point that is, they're not everywhere at one time. They're working in specific areas. So they have a phased approach to where they start. It is my understanding that they do want to start on some of the areas that really don't affect anybody. So the new turn that will take folks one way into town, they would try to concentrate on that area first, and then they work on some other areas as well. I don't know that we have a final set of those plans yet. Tomorrow's meeting is just our normal quarterly utilities meeting, and it covers all of the counties in District 1 or District 6, which is what we are in, and goes over all of the projects. So State Road 53 is just one of the things that they will be covering in there. That's certainly something, though, that we can separately talk with our contacts at GDOT about. Hey, have you got a plan for making sure that, these folks aren't left hanging when construction comes to their area, and being able to help communicate that word out as well.
Thank you, ma'am. I just heard
Yeah.
that.
Well, and I would like to point out, coming from another community that had just kind of gotten off a $60 million state road improvement project, very similar in terms of the size and scale. One of the things GDOT will say is they do roads. What local governments do, what local businesses do, is we get creative. So what I would go ahead and encourage businesses to start thinking about, and this was something the community I did, they embraced it. They embraced the tens of millions of dollars that contractors were getting and or subs, and lunch, they appeal to the lunch crowd. You got to buy gifts, gift cards. I will say, and it was Ackworth, the downtown just infused like crazy trying to get those workers that were stone's throw away, come in here for a quick bite, come here for a brown bag sandwich. They got creative because it was about a 36-month project. So I can tell you that there was not one business that closed during the project. So I would just encourage businesses to, GDOT's going to do it. So just embrace it and figure out, hey, what does it look like for getting subs or others, subcontractors, sub sandwiches too, if you want to do that. So that's the best practice.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I have a request. It's just something that I've thought a lot about. I want to make sure that we're maintaining clear boundaries between city council and our role here as city council and independent boards, independent boards such as the EDA, and now we're bringing on Main Street America, just clarity as to what that looks like, since sometimes we share in both roles. Just advocacy, guidelines, what that looks like. And mainly, I think it's to just be open and honest and have transparency and public trust in that area. Just some clarity. Include Mr. Sipin if he has input into that. But just to bring clarity to what that looks like, transparency and openness. Because I'm not real clear on it.
Absolutely.
So I would like to request that we get that on an upcoming agenda for a future meeting, just to be discussed.
I can certainly agree with that. In the next month or two, we'll have that on our agenda for discussion. It's oftentimes individuals don't recognize what all this elected body does. As being mayor, and someone sitting next to me has had that experience, you serve on multiple boards just by being mayor. I am thankful enough to serve on our health board, and I serve on the Northwest Regional Commission. And we're part of that. I serve here as mayor. You serve on DDA. So there's multiple boards and authorities that we all operate off of. So I think having maybe just a running list also. So our public could look at us and say, well, here's what all he does or she does. Not a bad idea.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Council, any other comments?
I want to commend our staff, our police department, and our fire department, because the city went through a very great, troubling time for us, and this was handled so well at so many different levels that as what we did not want to do as members of council was in any way interfere with the processes that were going on, and those were handled so efficiently that we were kept up to date with what was going on and what was needed. I want our community to realize that you have witnessed a great amount of professionalism at all levels in our city, and thank you for it so much.
Thank you, sir. Council? Any other comments?
Reduction in paperwork.
You'll be getting an electronic copy of that soon. Moving on to mayor's comments, I'm going to reiterate a couple of things. Number one, thank you to those of you that are with us and that stayed. I really appreciate this. I know our council does. It is not often that we have a meeting with individuals that stay the entire time, which is why I encourage people to stay. Because oftentimes, if you leave a little early, you miss on what's coming. So number one, thank you for being with us and thank you for staying. Last week, I received a letter from a sixth grader up in Illinois that attends school at John Deere Middle School. She has a social studies project that is coming up, and part of this project is that you were blindfolded by your teacher, you were spun around 5 times, and you put a pin on a map. She landed on Jasper. And so I got this wonderful letter from a young lady in 6th grade up in Illinois. So I want her to know, if you're watching the video, that we are going to be sending you a package. It should ship out tomorrow. We're going to have all kinds of items from all of our departments. A police patch, a fire department patch, a challenge coin, a hat, some shirts, and some goodies. And so we appreciate being thought of, even if it was just by chance of a pin. I really appreciate that teacher being creative and allowing them, those students, the opportunity to learn about places other than where they're at. May 9th. May 9th is going to be a wonderful day for our community. And so I appreciate everyone's interest and efforts in getting that going. So please join us down at Peace Park in downtown May 9th to get your hands dirty for a good cause and to support our businesses and our city. May 5th is a date that everyone should put on their calendar. May 5th at 6 p.m. we are going to have a joint government meeting with this city council and our administration and Pickens County commissioners in the library. And so we're hopeful that that'll be a wonderful meeting where we make progress as our community is looking forward to next steps on multiple items. And so it's good partnership, good communication. There will be some items, some documents that we need to execute once we leave here, right before we go into executive session for the GO bonds. But I would be remiss if I did not thank our city staff that's present for what they have been through. It has not been an easy month. The month of March was hard on our entire community. And I made a short video after the most recent incident thanking all of our partners, and I apologize if I missed any of our partners. We had so many agencies and so many partners show up to assist us during our time of need. It really warms my heart. But the number one question that you receive as an elected official after a major incident in your community is, what can I do to help? You know, your neighbors are asking, your friends are asking, strangers are calling and asking me as mayor or these council members, what can I do to help? And the best piece of advice that we can give anyone in our community or around our community is to help someone. That may look like offering a smile or just a hand, buying a meal, or being kind. It does not have to be anything large. We as a society have to get back to being kind to each other, being loving, being compassionate, being understanding. We are all in this together, and we are not getting out of this experience called life. And so just be kind to your fellow humans. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be better because of it. With that, we do have executive session for the title of legal. What I will do is I will entertain the motion to go to executive session for legal, and I will immediately come down here to sign documents before we actually go into executive session, counsel for legal, for our council. So at this time,
Make a motion, we go into executive session at 8:13.
I have 8:10 on the dot, yes.
8:10.
To go into executive session for legal, I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same. Thank you, council. We are in executive session.